Right, what we talk about?
We're live, so.
All right, we'll sit back. All right, here we go. Hello and welcome to the Mancunian Masters Live News Day. I'm Richard Baker, and we'll be hearing from Sean Byrne, Ben Parsons, and Elise Brighouse. Today, we'll be discussing some of the political stories driving the agenda across the country.
And it seems like everything's back to normal. Cafes remain open.
It's not the ups today.
Yeah, I know.
Other parts of everyday life.
We got off a retake on it, just one on the day.
Well, it's live, isn't it?
Oh,
Hang on,
shit.
why has it gone back?
Live now. I forgot about that.
In a tricky position.
We're going to be watching
Foreign
it.
rebels.
Oh,
No, no,
yeah.
so what needs to happen?
Omicron variant.
Yeah,
Blitz spirit of last summer has left, and now purely political squabbling over how best to proceed with this virus has taken its place. Government scientists have been calling for fresh restrictions since before Christmas, but ministers in that same government have had strong opposition to such thing. But away from the Westminster Zoo, there are real lives, real hardships, real stories. The health sector is still struggling both with COVID patients and the feeling that they're being undervalued by this government. We may know how to treat COVID patients, but dealing with the welfare of nurses on the front line is an entirely new issue. Staff shortages, pay and conditions are also problems facing the NHS as we enter the new year. Although many in the health service agree with ministers that need to live with the virus, they still feel more measures need to be in place to protect the NHS before that happens.
I think we know how to sort of deal more with COVID patients now than we did at the start of the pandemic. I think we have more of a plan these days of how to control the outbreaks on the wards, and it's a lot more systematic than it was at the start of the pandemic. But I think in terms of the nurses' mental health and things like that, I think we're still struggling just as much. I think maybe even more. We've lost a lot of nurses during the pandemic, so that's definitely contributed to staff morale and people being able to carry on as normal, really. But in terms of the actual workload, we know how to treat COVID now, and it's not so much everybody's really sick from it, so it's a lot more manageable in terms of that.
And then, so on the wider picture, do you feel, as a critical care nurse, do you feel forgotten by this government?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think the government, in the past 2 years I've really evaluated sort of what the job I do, because it's so undervalued and so overworked, and the government haven't ever taken into consideration how it feels as for us as a nurse, just as long as we're there to do the job, and when actually they haven't looked at how many nurses have left in the last 2 years. I know so many people that have just left nursing completely, that have left critical care and don't want to work there anymore. So the staff base on critical care at the moment is extremely junior, because we've lost all of our senior staff members because it's because of the government and the way the government have treated us and the way the government have gone about, looking after us. There's been nothing really. There's nothing that they've done significant to reward us or thank us for what we've done for this past 2 years. So I think the government have definitely need to step up, but I've lost all hope in it, really. I don't think it'll ever happen. In the beginning.
Okay, chat.
So, Richard, could the NHS be a deciding factor, do you think, in the next election?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm very happy you asked me that. Now, I'd say there is certainly a definite
They were too close.
example.
You've
Yeah,
got ridiculous.
Yeah,
That the setup didn't work.
Exactly. Yeah,
In terms of
yeah,
maybe
I'm looking there, aren't I?
Okay.
you've got hunchback.
So, yeah. If we're like
Nice.
like a shell.
Yeah.
I would say better.
So the NHS could well be a deciding factor in the next general election. There is obvious hatred towards the current government, and that could well play out in the ballot boxes. X, Y, Z.
But what's the hate going to the NHS though?
It's already the NHS.
Yeah, I know, but I want more about the NHS.
Oh yeah, I'll give you more next Thursday.
Talk about Partygate as well.
We're going to ask the question.
I'm sure Partygate has enforced that the current government are not a viable option, but NHS staff, when they come to vote in the future, open to the table.
Yeah, no, that's
Make
another
sure-
question.
Also, like, make sure that you're involving Sean as well.
Yeah,
Do we know-
that's
do
why I
we
opened it
know
to the
Sean?
table.
Yeah.
Sean's tackling hard over there.
Yeah. I think we should all get everyone who's sat down after every video should say.
Wait, no, wait.
Have at
Right,
least one
how,
question to ask.
Yeah.
how about for every question, each one of us just answer?
No, I don't.
Or-
I think
or
whoever's
we build on
whoever's
what
video
the
it is
answer.
should be answering. But like,
Yeah, but then
if
you
you
have
look
to
at
say
the
questions
questions
you agree with
before,
that.
yeah, and I'll ask you a question too. I'll have a question in my head. What's in there?
Yeah.
Ask you as well. So as well.
Would it be too confusing to always have the person whose video it is in the middle?
Nah, I think.
No, that'd be easy to do.
Yeah.
You've got 3 minutes to sort it out. Why not?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
okay,
it's
yeah,
good to
yeah,
make
yeah.
awkward, like
Yeah.
doing it.
Me?
Because in theory,
I'm not
it's
going to
like-
be in it.
I think for the intro though, because if I'm presenting, I'll be in the middle,
Example, if
and then
your
we'll cut to
video
the
is
web
in
with the
there,
first story.
I think it should Rick, put your video first then. And I think you should just stay in the middle because you'll always be the one going.
Well,
Thank you, and then
not necessarily. It was like a round table sort of discussion.
Okay, so
Okay, yeah.
rehearse now. Rehearse the segue. So you've chatted. Now who's going to say? Like, and here's the next
Is it
video,
Ben's video?
which is Ben. Yeah.
You can just swap who's doing it.
Ben, that was the world's best video. What we are.
We hadn't even played the video yet.
So rehearse the segue.
Now, starting off, university students in England have shown anger at the extent of virtual lectures in their courses. The problem is no different for Manchester students, and here's Ben Parsons with this report.
Okay, so then you mute.
As in Piccadilly Gardens spells the end of the festive season in Manchester. Many thousands of university students are returning to the city from time at home to begin their studies in the third term of the academic year. Plenty of students will be relieved to return with many of the freedoms that they left the city with after growing concerns over the rising rates in the coronavirus Omicron variant. A lockdown was feared by many students, but Prime Minister Boris Johnson has turned to the government's Plan B option, with face masks mandatory in shops and public transport, and COVID passes needed for some events in sport and entertainment. That means nightclubs and famous venues such as the Manchester O2 Ritz and Gorilla remain open to welcome the city's music lovers, and the hospitality industry can continue to recover. However, education has suffered during the pandemic and many students remain frustrated that they are continuing to complete their degree through online lessons. William Hayden is a student at Manchester Metropolitan University, the second biggest university in the city, and like so many, he has had a challenging experience.
My experience at university has been very challenging, especially doing quite a hands-on course like myself, doing mechanical engineering course. A lot of it relies on a lot of collaborative work with sort of other students and getting into the workshop and doing a lot of hands-on work. It's been very challenging because so I'm in third year now, third year and second year haven't been able to go to the workshop once, haven't been in at all. In first year I was able to go in a little bit, so that was before the pandemic started, so that was quite good, it was quite enjoyable.
Do it in that order.
Well, I need to make sure I'm not in the. Oh god.
Just do it where I am. I won't be here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so chat.
So obviously, Ben, we saw your report then on university students during their university times. So what's the general feel of students right now?
I think the feeling in general is frustration. I think students haven't had the same amount of support at university that other years have had. I think online learning is a lot more difficult. I think that's been proved. And I think certainly as much as there needs to be a certain amount of leniency in grades, there also needs to be leniency in fees because they're not getting the same experience as they were before.
And then, Elise, if I can just come to you. As a student yourself, how do you feel about this? Not that you know, but you know. Well,
So I was asking Ben a question.
Say some
I
stuff.
was very thrown. As a student, I feel that I want more money back because I just do.
You've got your university experience is not the same as someone who studied not during pandemic.
My university experience has been inhibited by the ongoing pandemic. My teaching has been hindered by being on Zoom.
What?
My Zoom calls with bad Wi-Fi because student housing never has very good Wi-Fi. And overall, it's not the same experience as someone would have had pre-pandemic.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay? And then, so always do mute and unmute kind of first. So then,
I become interested probably about 10 years ago. I've been doing it for about 8-9 years, maybe 11 years actually. I actually saw a photo of somebody doing it, and it just captivated me. Like I just wanted to do it. That's like, when you see something and you're like, that I want to give that a go. Like my style very much when I pole is very fitness heavy in terms of like, I like to wear.
and then start talking.
You guys don't know about this video, so.
Tell us
It's
about it,
about-
Alice. Just interested to know.
So that was my piece on pole fitness. From Becky Dunn, who posts on TikTok and Instagram, and she's a trainer for it, and she
Sit
does
on your
bits, does fitness. Some people call it pole dancing, some people are like, nah, it's fitness. This is not professional, but TLDR thing. I would say that more professional.
Sure, whatever. Great. Yada, yada, yada. And then Rick. Oh, shit. Got a roll. It's fine. Sit where I am. Sit where I am.
Insert text here. It's very moving.
Yeah.
We're talking about that title section.
And then blah, 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 blah. Chat,
Yeah,
chat, chat,
so
chat.
yeah, that was my good dog, Robbie, in my garden, playing with my sister. Yeah, he's a good lad.
Good chat. All right, and then at the end, simple. We end broadcast.